Hello, everyone. I am excited to have you back for another edition of ETHRWorld's L&D Superfood. We have unearthed some fantastic insights in our previous episodes, and today's session promises to be equally enriching for your learning and development journey. Just like a superfood provides a range of health benefits in one serving, our concise 10-minute episodes are crafted to deliver valuable insights that foster growth and innovation in the ever-evolving L&D landscape. As industries undergo transformation, the importance of L&D has never been more pronounced, and I'm delighted to introduce a very special guest who is here with us today. Please join me in welcoming Thomas Henry Mathuranayakam, the Head of Learning and Development at Swiggy. Hello, Thomas. It's a pleasure to have you with us for our fifth episode of ETHR World's L&D Superfood.
Kiran, the pleasure is mine.
Okay, Thomas, to start things off, I want to know how you have reimagined L&D strategies at Swiggy to foster continuous growth of all your employees, including gig workers, especially in such a fast-paced and fast-growing industry.
As a learning leader, it's quite essential to understand the business landscape, right? Swiggy is a complex environment if you look at it, right? So it's a troika. We have a marketplace which speaks about restaurant partners, we have delivery partners, then we have our employees. Uh, it's very important for the L&D leader to understand the business landscape and then couple it up with the team that you work with, the customers you serve, and to be precise, the market dynamics you navigate, right? So my strategies are primarily built on four foundational pillars. One is going to be performance, second one is change, agility, and the last one is going to be maintenance, right? So this as an approach primarily gives me the opportunity to segment our workforce effectively, ensuring each group operates optimally within these dimensions. So by doing this, we're not drawing boundaries, but we are specifically building cohorts in terms of how a learning approach should be. And again, if you look at it at Swiggy, we've moved from isolated training events to a holistic learning ecosystem. This shift, right, it's actually paradigm for us, right? What it has done is it gave us the opportunity to embed continuous development into our organization culture. And it's been not a smooth sailing, but it's been a sail of experience for us. So again, if I can go on with this, we also empower our leaders to be champions of change and champions of learning. So we engage with our managers to act like a coach and professionally look at mentoring their teams and encourage employees to take ownership of their professional as well as personal growth. And you'd also touched upon the gig workers, right? So with the gig workers, it's an interesting segment if you look at it, right? So we offer them flexible, personalized learning experience through cutting edge technology. This is a place where the learning team primarily partners with the product teams, and we ensure development opportunities are also made accessible to them. If you had an opportunity to go back and check on what's happening on the learning space within L&D, or at least within India, you would have figured out there's an initiative called as Swiggy Skills, which we launched very recently along with the government of India, which primarily goes beyond business needs, right? And it primarily focuses on societal upliftment. So that's something that we've been doing.
Okay, that's really great to hear, Thomas. And now let's talk about the road ahead a little bit. And I want to know that with emerging technologies like AI and data analytics, how do you see the future of learning programs evolving to meet Swiggy's needs?
It's evolution. And the emerging technologies around AI and data analytics are primarily revolutionizing the way in which learning programs are being constructed now, right? Earlier, it was primarily to go back and say, we'll run classroom sessions. Now, we're thinking upon like opportunities to go back and say, like, hey, would a nudge actually prove effective enough for us, right? So this gives us a lot of scope to understand the different personas of learners that you do have, and at least build some cohortization around it, and then be flexible in terms of how people would want to learn. So we emphasize heavily on learning as well as learner experiences, and then we want to go back and tailor it to the individual needs. AI and the data around an employee primarily helps us to narrow it and pin it really, really well. We've also gotten into a zone wherein the effectiveness of our programs, right, are meaningfully measured these days with respect to the amount of data that we do have today.
Exactly. I think that's a really great insight for our viewers to have. And, moving on to my next question, how do you ensure that learning and development initiatives remain relevant and accessible across such a geographically dispersed and demographically diverse workforce, especially as diverse as yours?
I'm just going to touch upon the learner and learner's experience part, right? It's super important for you to understand who your learner is and what are going to be their preferred modes of learning, right? Earlier, I just touched upon this earlier as well. Now, with this world of TikToks and all your reels and stuff like the attention span of your employees is relatively less. If you're not going to give them the most important element, which is like interesting for them to catch on to their attention, it goes out for a toss. So you'll have to have a global view in terms of giving them perspective in terms of where they stand with respect to the career that they want to choose. That's why you'll have to go back and let them know, hey, this is the future, and here is the skill that you might need to get better at what you're doing. Right?
Okay, that's really great. And now, Thomas, we are slowly entering our rapid fire round where I'll just throw some quick questions your way. So my first question is, can you share a piece of feedback from an employee that surprised or challenged you and how it influenced future L&D programs?
Interesting. So, yeah, I do recall an instance where my team and I we built a few programs. We were upbeat, saying that yes, it's going to work for our employees, and then we mapped it all to the empathy surveys and the business outcomes. And suddenly we figured out like there was a cohort of people who were not actually able to perform. That primarily put us off, and then we said like, okay, let's connect with these folks, right? And when we connected with them again to further dwell on the empathy surveys and stuff like that, so there was one employee, right, who just came back saying like, hey, you know what, we understand the process, we understand the product. I've got a great score. You've done the assessments. This is where I stand. But each time I get to meet my customer, I get to encounter similar problems. It's not like I get to um, get diverse problems, but I also get to give similar answers. How do I break this cycle? So it was an interesting question because we never thought of it that way. We said like, hey, if I'm going to create a fulcrum by saying like knowledge is going to be there and skill is going to be there, performance is going to happen, obviously. But that's where we were given a small tip saying like, hey, that's not how learning happens this time, right?
Okay, that's really great to hear. And my next question is that because you must get questions about food all the time, if you could prepare the perfect L&D dessert, what are the three key ingredients that you will add to the mix?
Yeah, today again, we're not a food alone organization. Just wanted to stay corrected there. We've delved into quick commerce, and Instamart is doing really, really well, right? It's food plus Instamart plus there are a bunch of other things. Just wanted to put it out on records. Now, sticking back to your question on the perfect LED dessert, I would say like it would be a blend that primarily cultivates a motivated and capable workforce. All right, so a lot of study, internal and external, actually gave us this understanding saying like, hey, if you do have a motivated fleet of employees, they are going to solve for your problems, right? There is a small formula that we'd build as well, right? Play plus potential plus purpose leads to a fleet of motivated employees, and then it directly translates into performance. That's going to be my recipe.
That's a great answer, I'd say. Now, how would you define your journey as a leader in the learning and development space at Swiggy in just one sentence?
One sentence. Now you're putting me in a spot. I can say a word. It's roller coaster though. There's a lot of rush. There's a lot of blood out there, which is adrenaline, which flows from your head to your toe and keeps you motivated, right? So, on other words, if I have to put it in a very, very polished way, my journey at Swiggy has been about transforming learning into a continuous, cohesive, inclusive, and impactful learning experience, right? That primarily looks at empowering every employee to achieve their full potential.
Thank you so much for joining us, Thomas, for this episode of ETHRWorld Superfood. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
The pleasure is mine, Sharon, and thank you for hosting. And I look forward to more such sessions wherein I would love to learn from a few other leaders out there, right? Most of them are doing great,
Absolutely.
not only with technology, but also with learning and business. Definitely look forward to your future sessions.
Looking forward to it as well. And now to our viewers, please stay tuned to ETHRWorld Superfood for more exciting episodes as we dive deeper into the world of L&D and bring you more insights from the top professionals in the industry. Catch our other episodes from the series on our YouTube channel and our L&D food playlist. And until next time, keep learning and keep growing. Thank you.